So welcome to the Force Always. My name is Diz, aka David Zammit, and I'm really on track to making this more than just a weekly video drop, but this is going to be the second time I've dropped a video from the Force Always this week. Let's just drink a little bit of not Kool-Aid, but some coffee. Anyway, this is going to be about news, views, reviews, and interviews. Let's get into the news. Two more pieces of news this week. Is the first one, Ewan McGregor, who plays Obi-Wan Kenobi of the prequels, and obviously the Obi-Wan Kenobi show that's on Disney+. Obviously, the original Obi-Wan Kenobi, Alec Guinness, has passed away. But they are as good as each other in their roles, playing Obi-Wan Kenobi. But anyway, Ewan McGregor, who plays Obi-Wan Kenobi, has said at a fan event he would like to have ANDOR 3. ANDOR is a live action Star Wars series that has ended because there's no more story to give, it blending from Andor into Rogue One, the movie, and season 2, sealed that. But he would like to have an Andor season 3. How is this possible? Well, the only way possible this would be is in having an alternate timeline that would overlap Rogue One. It's the only way you could do it, which I think actually is interesting and I'd be up for. But in my humble opinion, I think I'll say no. I'll say that it would be too confusing. If it's not going to have Gilroy, that's Mr. Gilroy, a part of it, I don't think the understanding of the type of feel and tone to the actual Andor Season 3 would be there. Without Tony Gilroy, I think it is. He's the one that put that all together, Andor series. So anyway, but that's some news. Ewan McGregor really wants to have Season 3 of Andor, in which I'm just saying to you the only timeline available, maybe 30 seconds between Andor and Rogue One, but it would have to run into the Rogue One timeline in the Star Wars storytelling, and it would have to be an alternate, area of the timeline at the same time, if you can understand. That's the first piece of news. Second piece of news is the Acolyte. People are really wanting to have an Acolyte Season 2. Acolyte is another live-action TV series on Disney+. It's probably, amongst the Star Wars hardcore fans, either equal or the most hated thing in Star Wars. There's sort of three things that lots of Star Wars hardcore fans often talk about in hatred or dislike. First it was the prequels, then it was The Last Jedi, along with Rise Skywalker of the Episode 8 and Episode 9, and then the Acolyte. Acolyte timeline is actually the furthest we've gone into the past. It's actually before Episode 1. So people are really wanting to see an Acolyte Season 2. I think personally the Acolyte Season 1, this could bring some hatred to me, but I didn't think it was that bad. I think the worst part of the Acolyte was its prequel look. It was meant to be about 100 years before Episode 1, set in the story timeline of Star Wars. I just thought it looked a bit too much like Episode 1 and 2. It was just a bit too clean cut for me. But it it was fine. Like, I know that's going to be hard to digest, but I thought it was fine. It just didn't really hit amazing or very good to me, but I thought it was just fine. I think the fuss is outweighed the fineness about it, if that's the way of putting it, but it's what people are saying. Anyway, that's the news for this time around. Views. Now, views is going to be very short because it's not really a thing that I want to make big time. But speaking of having a next series, and there's no official storyline that I have, but I would actually like to see Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett, which is another TV live action series on Disney Plus. I'd like to sort of see it fruition. A season, I think it would be season two. But I really think if there's any story input that I would say, Boba Fett really needs to get back to his roots of being a real conniving, badass type of bounty hunter. Him coming up as the good guy, sort of like a Mandalorian, the Mandalorian, it just was not the right direction. I think it should be just, he should be that sort of real mysterious, badass bounty hunter. That's what I think. If season 2 would get fruition. That's a story idea. It's just very quick, straight to the point, just thought I'd say it. Late show with David Letterman. Still got the mug. Anyway, so let's get into reviews. Reviews this time is actually from a fan, an amazing fan who just come up to me at the Japanese Star Wars celebration, which was about 3 months ago now, probably more than that. And just, there was lots of fans at this particular event. Of all the celebrations I've been to, were really gift giving. Like, I got a little Imperial sort of starship thing that you made like as a puzzle. I got some stickers, I got some badges, but this particular person said, just choose a card. So I said, I said to the person, don't let me look, let me just pick it out and the force will just take over. So I closed my eyes like I've got now and I picked this card. Look at this card. I want to show you the quality in this card. This is a fan just creating, like he had a deck of these cards, all different characters. This one here is, it's Hunter. His name's Hunter. He sort of looks like a stormtrooper. It's the detail, the quality of card, amazing. Look at that. This is another 10 out of 10 in my review. I cannot remember his name, but this, I was absolutely honoured. And I just thought, amazing to have a gift giving. It was very gift giving. Lots of Star Wars fans recently, even though there's a lot of toxic behaviour, are very giving. And especially at the Star Wars Celebration event. I've been to a number of them. And this was amazing. Look at, this is beautiful, this card. Anyway, that's my review for this time around. So let's get into interviews. And guess what? Moi is being interviewed. That means me. That means I have an exclusive interview with me. So my question to myself is actually coming from one of our favourite viewers on here on the Force Aways. Michael from Werribee South. If you're from Victoria, Melbourne, you know Werribee South. It's a pretty hardened area. It's pretty intense. And let me tell you, that Michael was intense too. And pretty hardened. His question to me sort of came from a show that I did yesterday, or the last episode of The Force Aways. And he said, his question was in the whereabouts of, do you think the male fan base of Star Wars has been replaced woke people by the woke people? been replaced? Do you think the loss of male fan base, which is Disney and Lucasfilm have recognised, have gone missing? Not all, but have started going in their droves, have been replaced by the woke people. First of all, and last of all, I think this whole woke thing is out of control in itself. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, if you're going to give me a canvas and I'm going to paint, then I'm going to use every single colour that I want and need for that particular painting. That's all I'm going to say about woke. But I will say that I think the woke people, I think they have come more closer to Star Wars and the male fan base, old school male fan base has been lack of, due to the whole woke versus not woke sort of thing. I think it is a contribution to losing the male fan base. Not all, but a part of the reason. I think people who are woke are people who have really open-minded understanding to especially this story of Star Wars, where it's a universe and it can't be restricted. But that being said, if I created a Star Wars film, then without calling it Star Wars lore, which you could call it that, but I would create a story that would have it fit the story of Star Wars. And if it included things that are woke or things that are not woke, then I'm utilizing the whole universe, because that's what Star Wars is. Star Wars is a universe. It's sort of, look, George Lucas owned it and now sold it. And, the story cannot be told by one person. It is definitely his story. But we can't fixate ourselves, in my opinion, fixate ourselves, if you are given the task to write a Star Wars story, to think about what other people would think. You need to do you. And I am a big Star Wars fan, and I would inject a lot of world building and a lot of passionate ideas within Star Wars, but still keeping the space adventure alive, because that's what it is. Everyone refers to Star Wars as a sci-fi, but by the maker and by my understanding, which is my opinion, it's a space adventure. In fact, it's a bit of a love space adventure, if you want to be really straight to the point. But I think, to answer Michael from Werribee South's question, because he is just an interested person, not completely into Star Wars at the moment, but he's got a lot of interests out there. He's got a lot of time for his interests, let me tell you that. But anyway, I do believe that the woke people of what we know what woke people are have replaced a lot of the fan base in Star Wars, and that is a reason why a lot of the male fans have dropped off, because a lot of those people have their own ideas of what Star Wars should be, and some people would say their childhood was robbed by George Lucas when the prequels came out. Some people are just disgusted where Star Wars is now in 7, 8, and 9. It's just not real Star Wars. It's not Star Wars lore. And there's all these reasons, but for me, at the end of the day, at every single episode, I take Star Wars for what it is. I still enjoy it for what it is. It's an amazing canvas of work, artwork, visually, audibly, anythingly, if that's a word. Anyway, that's my interview to myself, my exclusive interview. And anyway, so if you have any comments, if you want to share this video, maybe have a coffee next time. Please do so. And until next time, my friends, keep rocking.